Hi folks, welcome to the Yoga Wild YouTube channel. My name is Casey. I use the pronoun she, her, and I am co-founder of Yoga Wild. Of yoga practitioners in America, 4/5 of white. So as a yoga company, statistically that means that a majority of our students or practitioners are white. Because of this, we feel we have a responsibility to talk about oppression and injustice that exists because of white supremacy. And before you tune out or maybe go check out another yoga class, I invite you to stay with me for a little bit, and maybe think about how many yoga classes you've taken, especially if you have a regular practice, with boutique or corporate studios, boutique like us, that have been about the COVID-19 pandemic. And you've sat in the discomfort of grief or fear or anger or loss of life from this virus. And then also think about how many times in your yoga practice on your mat you have sat with the discomfort of grief or fear or anger or loss of life due to white supremacy. And in Tuesday's Slow Flow, we talked about the murder of George Floyd at the hands of police officers in Minneapolis. And in that practice, we moved slowly with our breath because so many in this country feel suffocated or have their breath taken from them from senseless acts of violence at the hands of white supremacy. And another important incident happened this week, this time in New York, when a white woman called the police, feigned hysteria, distorted an incident, and potentially put the life of a black man, Christian Cooper, put a black man's life in danger. And Amy Cooper, the woman, responded to him telling her to follow the law, responded with such anger, like this black man didn't know his place. And in her apology, she was adamant that she is not a racist. And that's just not the case. Growing up white in America, we have a myriad of misconceptions and misperceptions from social conditioning, emotional conditioning, familial conditioning, implicit bias, implicit racism. And it is our responsibility to regularly do the work to help remove those misconceptions and misperceptions so that we can see not only ourselves, but another person or a situation more clearly. And Skill in Action, a book I constantly and highly recommend by Michelle Cassandra Johnson, she talks about the yamas and niyamas, the ethics of yoga, our practice of yoga, as a way to offer a framework for how to create a just world. So I invite you to stay with this practice in all of its discomfort. And it's going to be hard work, physical, mental, emotional, over the next 50-ish minutes. But we'll get started in Child's Pose Balasana. So bring your toes together, spread your knees wide, and try to, if you can, connect your third eye, the center of your forehead, to something. So maybe that's your mat or your hands, maybe fists, option even for a block or a pillow. And take a little time to turn inward, potentially maybe even feel grounded. And niyamas are personal observances. And one of the niyamas, Svadhyaya, means self-study, self-inquiry. It's also the study of wisdom teachings. And Svadhyaya is an important practice because it asks us to dig deep and really look at, who am I? And as we settle into the posture for about 5 more breaths, just take a little time in inquiry and study, who am I? Can you connect to the witness, the observer, not just thoughts and emotions, distractions that may come and go, but what's deep inside and calm and still? Your knowing. Who am I? And as you are ready, transition to tabletop. Make your way to your hands and knees. Really spread your fingers wide and just start to move around a little bit. Maybe that looks like circles. You could find circles in your hips clockwise. Then you can go counterclockwise. And as you find tabletop, start with your neutral spine. Your neck is long. Inhale, cow pose. Drop your belly. Lift the crown of your head and your tailbone up. Open your chest. Exhale, cat pose. Press into your palms. Tuck your chin in tight to your chest and round your spine. And continue to move with your breath. Connect to your inhale and exhale. Move your body in this breath today, maybe adding in some organic movement, staying in those circles. And for some reason, in our yoga practice, we can find an ease in certain discomfort, but some resistance, defensiveness, ignorance of others. And that's in all of us. So just giving yourself plenty of time to discern how you're feeling, what you're feeling today. And then send your left heel back, straight behind you. Knee and toes point down. You can start to get light in your right hand. Maybe even start to walk it forward. Maybe reach your right fingertips toward the front of your space. Inhale here really long. And then exhale, hug in, draw in, elbow to knee as you press through your left hand round your spine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round. A few more like that. Get really long, like you're reaching to the opposite sides of your space, and then round your back. You could always lower your right hand down, and then draw your left knee in, hold here for 3. Try to bring it up and in a little tighter, 2. 1. Slowly lower your left knee, or rather send your left heel to the back of your mat. And then cross your left knee behind your right. Point your toes out. You could walk your hands a little to the right and then sink your hips back. So taking chair pose, or rather child's pose again, but more with this kind of eagle leg variation. You might be feeling this a lot on your outer hips, and you might not need to move much to feel something. Maybe your hips kind of fall between your heels and you tuck in tight. Feeling a little constriction, getting as tight as you can for just a moment longer. And then we'll release, open up, send your left heel back, and back to tabletop. We'll switch sides. Send your right heel behind you, knee and toes point down, really active in your right leg. Draw your navel up and in, and then just layer up here, tent your left hand, maybe reach it forward. Thumb can point up toward the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, cat spine as you draw your elbow into your chest, your knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round. A few more. And again, you could have both hands down and really just focus on drawing your right knee up and in as much as you can. The next time you exhale and bring your right knee in, try to lift it up as high as you can. Round your upper back, hold for 3. We'll release back in 2. 1, send your right foot long. And then tuck your right knee behind your left, point your toes out, walk your hands over, and then sink back into your variation. Vinyasa, child's pose. When we take time in self-inquiry and self-study to recognize if our thoughts, our beliefs are really ours, really something we want to connect to, or are they just what we were taught, what we were programmed, what we grew up with. And then slowly unwind. Inhale, reach your right heel back. Exhale, lower your knees down. Make your way to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back. And then take time to study how your body feels in this first downward facing dog. And it can be so telling. So notice where you're holding on to tightness or tension. Notice where it's creeping in. Spread your 10 fingers wide as you grip with your fingertips. Try to let your head hang heavy. Notice the stretch through the backs of your legs. You have the strength of your shoulders, your arms. But also stay active in your legs. Inhale, gaze to your hands. Exhale, bend your knees, step to the top of your mat. Take a little time in a ragdoll. And as you fold over your legs, you could add a little movement or sway. Find a release here. It might serve to interlace your fingertips behind the back of your head. Draw your elbows in, tuck your chin up and in. As you round, you can even add a little pulse. And looking to stretch and open the outer hips outside of our legs. Cross your left ankle over your right, and blocks under your hands might be nice. Bring the ground up to you a little bit. And roll to the outer edges of your feet. And even here, start to spiral your inner thighs behind you. Maybe you're already feeling a big stretch. We're going to take a transition from this forward fold variation to downward facing dog. So keep the balance on the outer part of your right foot flexed and active. Lift your left foot up. Send it out wide to the left, behind and around, and then cross it behind your right ankle. Now bring your right foot up, out, and around, and tuck. And continue your path back. Downward facing dog. Maybe you're feeling really tight in your hips and your foot is a little lower to the ground. That's fine. Notice if you start to hold your breath. What muscles are you using to recruit for support? And then pause, downward facing dog. We'll take that same pass, but from downward dog up into our forward fold variation. So you can cross your left ankle over your right again. Bring your right foot out or back out and around. And bend your knees as much as you need. Again, you could use blocks or some kind of prop for support. And if you live in a tight body today, let this look however it looks. And eventually we'll meet back. Forward fold, a little more traditional. Add a soft bend to your knees, tuck your chin to your chest, and slowly roll up to stand. Take some time to roll out your shoulders. Let that be. And then bring your hands together at your heart, or even connect one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Take a moment to set an intention for your practice and maybe align with this idea of self-study. What work or what can you do to help recognize misperceptions, misconceptions that might be about yourself, about another person, about a situation? What work can you do to see things more clearly? And inhale, fill up. Open mouth, exhale, send it out. Inhale through your nose. This time, seal your lips, exhale through your nose. Stay with your Ujjayi pranayama. If it doesn't work today, just breathe through your mouth. Open your eyes. Inhale, reach your hands high. Exhale, sweep your left arm under your right. So we'll move into some eagle arms, Garudasana arms. And maybe you have a double bind, palms touch, maybe backs of hands, or just a half hug today. A little wider stance might serve. We're going to add a pulse here. So you could stay with a shoulder floss, just bringing your fingertips up, and then really draw your elbows down and in as tight as you can. Option to even add a little cow-cat spine. So you can inhale, reach your fingertips up, maybe even point your elbows up. And then exhale, draw your elbows in as you round. Forearms could come parallel to your mat. And continue on your own, just moving and breathing. For more sensation or challenge, option to take this into a forward fold. I invite you to keep a little bend in your knees If that gets you lightheaded or dizzy, then just stay lifted a little bit more or with the shoulder floss. As you take a couple more rounds of breath, again, just staying in whatever variation is right for you. We're not trying to strain the shoulders or our joints. And then take a moment in your eagle arms. Long spine, root through your heels. Reach your fingertips up and away. Feel the stretch through your back, your shoulders. Then we're going to expand our arms really wide. As you inhale, sweep up. Exhale, open arm twist to your right. Reach your right hand back, left hand forward. Inhale, sweep your right hand up. Exhale, open arm twist to your left. Inhale, sweep up all the way. Exhale, eagle arms, other side. Sweep your right arm under your left. So again, whatever variation works for you in your arms, and then start to add maybe that shoulder floss, reaching fingertips up and down. This is great for trying to create more mobility or flexibility in your joints. If you're looking for more sensation, option to add your cow and cat spine to any degree. Feel rooted in your feet, whatever variation you're in. Feel the ball end of your big toe, your pinky toe in the center of your heel really pressed down. Avoid locking out your legs. Move with your breath. And then eventually make your way back. Eagle arms, stand tall. See if you can get your wrap just a little bit tighter. Inhale, unwind, sweep out and up. Exhale, open arm twist to your left. Reach your left hand back, right arm forward. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, open arm twist to your right. Inhale, this time sweep way up. Exhale, interlace your fingertips behind your back. We're going to do a shoulder rinse, and then we'll start to move through a more traditional Surya Namaskar, Sun A. So interlace your fingertips, reach your knuckles down, open your chest. If this doesn't work in your body today, you can always bend your elbows, find a strap or some other support, or just hands to your back. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, fold slowly. Bend your knees. Lead with your heart as you come back to your forward fold. So lots of forward folds to start our practice, really taking time to prepare our body, preparing our shoulders here for chaturangas, our high to low push-up to come. And then come out the same way you went in, little bend in your knees. Press through your heels as you lift up. Sweep your hands up. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a moment, come back to your intention, your focus for your practice. And just take this role of observer, moving through your body, your breath. Try to do so without judgment, without critique. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Flat back. Exhale, high plank. We'll break down our first chaturanga really slow. So your high plank could be knees lifted or lower down. Stack your shoulders over your wrists. Reach your heels behind you and the crown of your head forward. Now draw your navel up and in. Can you add a little activation in your legs as well? If your knees are lifted, inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower through chaturanga. Send your elbows straight back. Try to land as slow and as soft as you can. From belly down, hands are outside your ribs. Hug your elbows up and in, and press down with the tops of your feet. Inhale, lift, lengthen. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra or high cobra. You can add a little weight into your hands. Lift your chest a little more. Exhale, lower down. We'll hold this third round. Inhale, lift cobra, high cobra, or upward facing dog. Press into your palms. Engage your legs so that your thighs hover away. Avoid dumping in your low back, so as active as possible with your legs as you lengthen the back of your neck. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. You could roll over your toes or press back through tabletop or child's pose. A few breaths here. Just taking time to pause. This is Vinyasa. We're going to move with breath. We'll build heat. We'll increase our heart rate, but take these times to pause. Come back to your opportunity to study, to inquire what is happening in your body right now. Who am I? Inhale, gaze to your hands. Exhale, bend your knees, step or jump forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll take a couple more rounds, a little faster with breath. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga, step or jump back, your high to low, with or without your knees. Pause halfway. Inhale, lift, cobra or upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, gaze to your hands. Exhale, bend your knees, step or jump. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your hands up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Just notice. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. You could lower all the way down or pause halfway. Inhale, lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. Few breaths. Notice in your practice so far, how many possibly limiting beliefs have passed through your mind, how many misconceptions, misperceptions, and how can you dig a little deeper, look beneath? Who am I? Inhale, gaze to your hands. Exhale, bend your knees, step or jump. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana, bend into your knees and really sink into your chair pose. And option to bring your hands outside your knees for just a moment and press your knees into your hands and then meet that press with a little bit of resistance. All of a sudden you might feel your glutes really fire on. Keep that as you find any variation with your arms. If your fingertips reach up, face your palms in, find external rotation in your arms. Now sink just a little deeper. Draw your navel up and in. Sink just a little deeper. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga or your path, downward facing dog. So you can always skip that mini vinyasa. You could let it look like cow cat. You choose. Inhale, reach your right heel high, extend up. Exhale, lunge, step through. Inhale, high lunge, lift your chest, reach your fingertips up, sink into your hips. Pause here, bend into your front knee, draw your right hip back. Now really press in with your left big toe, inhale. Exhale, chaturanga or straight to down dog. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left heel high, knee and toes point down, press in evenly with your palms. Exhale, lunge, step through, and maybe help your foot forward so it lands between your hands. Feet are on two separate tracks. Inhale, lift your chest, high lunge. Reach your fingertips high. Press in with your right big toe and your left heel. Sink into your hips. Get just a little longer in your spine. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Plant your palms lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. We'll flow through that. Wave. A couple more times, breath to movement. Our intention is to get the heart rate up, build some heat. Notice what happens. Inhale, gaze to your hands. Exhale, bend your knees, step or jump. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana, fierce pose. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, chaturanga, high to low push-up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reach your right heel high. Exhale, lunge, step through. Set your foundation. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, chaturanga. Option to float your right foot behind you as you lower down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift your left heel high. Exhale, lunge, step through. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, chaturanga. Maybe hover your left foot, lower down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, gaze to your hands. Exhale, bend your knees, step or jump. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga, your path, down dog. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reach your right heel high. Exhale, lunge, step through. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift your left heel high. Exhale, lunge, step through. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale. Exhale. One big breath. Inhale. Exhale. Lower to your knees. Cross your left knee behind your right, similar to what we did earlier. And we're going to transition into a seated variation. So maybe your hips come between the ground with your right knee stacked over your left. Maybe you get there with a block for support. And maybe this is just not a great place to be for your body right now. And just cross your right shin in front of your left. And sometimes sitting on a blanket or just rolling up your mat a little bit can offer a little height so you can keep your low back nice and long. Take a little time here. You could connect your hands to your heart, your belly. Maybe even add a little shift forward. Find a little more stretch or sensation through the outer part of your hips. We're playing with Garudasana or eagle variations a lot this evening because in certain variations, it can really ask us to hug in or draw in. And when times are tough, or times get tough, we need this drawing in for some deep dive, self-inquiry. And go ahead and lift your chest. Make your way out. We'll switch sides, so however you want to get there, maybe just bring your left shin in front, or tuck your right knee behind your left. And settle in. So if you are in kind of our Gomukhasana legs or cow face legs, then your knees are stacked. Maybe start to add your forward fold. And just start to inquire what's come up as you've moved in your body. Recognize these things that can cloud your vision. And then slowly make your way back to downward facing dog. However you untangle yourself and arrive downward facing dog. Take a moment here. Downward facing dog is not an easy posture in my body, but it may be familiar for you. Inhale, gaze to your hands. Exhale, bend your knees, step or jump. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana, sink in. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga, your path. Inhale, lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. Notice the familiar we're going to be adding on. Inhale, reach your right heel high. Exhale, lunge, step through. Inhale, high lunge, reach up. This time, exhale, sweep your left arm under your right. And take a moment here to just settle in. Maybe add a little pulse. Get used to having this arm variation, whatever variation of eagle arms you're going to try. And just like we did standing, we're going to add the cow-cat pulse. So you could try that on with your back knee grounded. Or inhale, start to lift your chest. Press in with your left big toe, your right heel. Exhale, draw your elbows in. And maybe lower your forearms parallel to your mat, or maybe start to reach your fingertips, the top of your head down. Inhale, lift up, press in with your right heel. Exhale, draw in. Inhale. Exhale. And if you feel a little wobbly, stabilize however you need. We'll come back up, keep your eagle arms, and then start to lean forward. So flat back, lean forward. We'll transition into warrior three with eagle arms. Press in with your right heel. Drag your left toes until they hover away from your mat. If your right leg is on fire, you're feeling a lot of heat, you discern, is this a challenge you want to meet, or do you just need to lower your left foot down, take a rest? Lengthen your left leg, spine is long. You can add any variation with your arms. And then slowly lift your chest. You could tap your left toes or pass through single leg Tadasana. Lift your left knee. You're going to sink in, eagle pose, Garudasana. Wrap your left leg over your right. Your left toes could tap on a block or the ground next to you, or tuck behind your right calf. And as you sink in, know that figure four, left ankle to right thigh, might be a preferred variation. And take a moment to really draw in, hug in. Do the work here. As you draw your left hip back, bring your knees to center. We're here for three. We're going to unwind or open, half moon, Ardha Chandrasana beat in 2, 1. As you open your hips, open your chest, take that transition slow. Turn your right side body parallel to your mat or the ground as your fingertips hover away or connect to a block. Your left hand can stay on your hips, or it could reach up toward the ceiling. Active, active, you're in it. You're breathing. Come back to your inhale and exhale. We're here for 3. Warrior 2, soft landing in 2. 1, take your time, bend your right knee, avoid just collapsing or falling out if you can, and land soft. Virabhadrasana 2. Press through the outer edge of your left foot, sink into your front knee, open your chest, reach through your hands. Is it physical challenge, or is there something else? Make decisions that are right for you. If it is just a physical challenge, can you stay in it and breathe? Inhale, reverse triangle, straighten your front leg, reach your right fingertips up, big stretch up. Exhale, triangle pose, Trikonasana. Reach your right fingertips forward, hinge at your hips. Right hand can come to your shin or to a block. Maybe extend your left fingertips high. This is a big stretch to the back of your leg, so if you need to keep a little bend in your front knee to protect your hamstring, feel free. Open your chest. Inhale, reverse warrior, bend your front knee, reach up and back just to transition. Exhale, chaturanga or straight to down dog. Whatever choice you make on this vinyasa, be present, care about each part of your breath, and eventually we will meet downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left heel high. Exhale, lunge, step through. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, eagle arms, sweep your right arm under your left. Settle in here. Maybe find a pulse. Get used to having this arm variation. And if the arms are just completely distracting, then let them be. Hands at your hips. Focus on your legs or some other area of your practice. From here, we'll add the pulse. Inhale, lift your chest, point your elbows up. And again, you could always ground your right knee. And then exhale. Draw your elbows in, start to find your cat spine. So taking these transitions really slow, staying long and slow with your breath during this portion, and just being mindful. If you fall or come out, get back in. And then when you finish the round of breath that you are on, we will meet eagle arms, high lunge. Slow transition. So as you hinge forward, really find length in your spine. Press through your right toes. And then as you press in with your left heel, you can kind of feel your right toes drag and eventually pick them up and away from your mat. Active in your right leg, maybe a soft bend in your left knee. Right knee and toes pointing down, just like we did earlier in our bird dog variation. You can always change your arms. Breathe. Come back to your intention. Slow transition. Single leg Tadasana. Lift your chest. Draw your right knee forward. Maybe tap your right foot and up. And then settle in. Eagle pose, Garudasana. Any variation with your legs, any variation with your arms. Don't force your body someplace it doesn't want to go. It doesn't have to look just like it did on the last side. And then notice what it feels like to really draw in. We're here for 3. Half moon, you're going to expand, open up in 2. 1, take this transition slow. Open your chest, so find the twist as you lower your left side body down. And then what does it feel like to go from this really constricted, small posture to this expansive, open one? It can still be challenging, but energetically, what do you notice or feel here? We're here for 3. Warrior 2, soft landing in 2. 1, bend your front knee. Land your right foot soft, and then sink in. Virabhadrasana 2. Settle in. Just like downward facing dog earlier, this pose isn't easy, but is it familiar to you? And if it is familiar ground, energetically, what does that feel like? Is there a little grounding energy? Can you feel a little support? As you sink your hips down, get just a little wider. Inhale, reverse triangle, straighten your front leg, squeeze your inner thighs, reach your left hand up, big stretch through your left side body. Exhale, triangle pose, Trikonasana. Keep all of that space as you reach forward and then hinge at your hips. And I kind of like to shorten my stance, setting up for triangle, so don't feel glued to your mat. Make any adjustments that you need. Long through your sides. Open your chest. Squeeze your inner thighs. Breathe. Inhale, reverse warrior. Bend your front knee. Reach your left hand up and back. Exhale, chaturanga, or your path. Downward facing dog. So, 5 breaths. Down dog, tabletop, child's pose, whatever you need. We're going to flow through all of those postures. Just one more time. Breath to movement. You've done the work. You've set the foundation. Kind of sink back in. Fall back to a deep knowing or instinct. Your muscle memory. Inhale, gaze to your hands. Join us when you're ready. Exhale, bend your knees, step or jump. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga, or however you get downward facing dog. From down dog, inhale, reach your right heel high. Exhale, lunge, step through. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, eagle arms. Just once. Inhale, pulse, or just a shoulder floss. Exhale, round, draw in, hug in. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, start to shift forward. Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3, lift your left heel. Inhale, single leg Tadasana, maybe pass your left foot by. Exhale, eagle, Garudasana, sink in, draw in. Inhale, expand, half moon, Ardha Chandrasana B. Exhale, Warrior 2, soft landing. Inhale, reverse triangle, straighten your front leg, reach up. Exhale, triangle pose, reach forward and hinge. Inhale, reverse warrior, bend and reach. Exhale, chaturanga, stay with it, whatever you choose. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift your left heel high. Exhale, lunge, step through. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, sweep your right arm under your left. One pulse, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. Inhale, single leg Tadasana. Exhale, eagle pose, Garudasana. Inhale, open up, expand, half moon. Exhale, Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, triangle Trikonasana. Inhale, reverse the warrior. Lift your left hand up and back. Exhale, chaturanga. Stay in it. Move with your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, lower to your knees. Sink back on your heels. Cross-legged, any comfortable seat. About 5 to 7 breaths here. Our yoga practice can be an effective way to really bring to light unhealthy, unhelpful, unnecessary thoughts. Notice how you speak to yourself. Notice how you talk to me or teachers or others. And then do those thoughts resonate with your deep, pure, loving knowing? And if not, let them go. This isn't easy work, but we have to do it. Go ahead and shift to a comfortable seat. We'll move into seated half pigeon. So cross your right ankle on top of your left and then draw your left heel in. So if you have a different variation of half pigeon you prefer, you can go there. For this one, I feel it really intense on the outer part of my hip. You might be feeling that too. You could always walk your left foot out for a little less sensation or heel in for closer for more sensation. And then you could come to your back or forearms if you need just a little bit less as well. It might feel nice to move side to side, but really press in with your palms, kind of puff up your chest, draw your navel up and in. Inhale. Exhale, seated spinal twist. So straighten your left leg. Your right foot could stay outside your left leg. It could come inside. That's a really nice option too. You could also cross your left heel in outside your right hip, but any of those variations work. A little kickstand with your right fingertips. Inhale, lift your left hand high. Exhale, open your chest. And take a little time here. You can really press in with your left tricep. I also like to kind of give my right knee a little hug, so you can kind of play with sensation there. And maybe start to turn your chin towards your back shoulder. And then slowly unwind. Dandasana, staff pose. Send your heels long. Find your sit bones. So again, a blanket or a folded mat might be of service. You can bring your hands outside your hips. Get really active in your legs. So if you were to tap your quads, the fronts of your thighs, they're active. And elevate the crown of your head just a little higher. Core is active. Seated half pigeon, other side. Bring your left ankle to your right thigh, and then start to bend your right knee as you walk your heel in. Flex your toes. You can add a little bit of movement side to side. And again, active in your core. Puff up your chest. In the case of Amy Cooper and her apology that I am not a racist, there is a syndrome with us white folks where we want to be the good white. We, especially if you practice yoga, if you consider yourself a liberal, if you voted for certain people, you can kind of pride yourself on being a good white. And then know that that can be a misconception, that can be a veil, kind of avoiding us seeing ourselves, our actions clearly. And slowly transition into your twist. Straighten your right leg. Any variation, left foot across or in. Maybe tuck your right heel outside your left hip. Root down in your sit bones. And as you inhale, reach your right hand high. Sit tall. Exhale, twist. And move with your breath. Inhale. Exhale. And to really be anti-racist, it's constant work. How often are you reading the works of people of color? How often are you practicing or learning or listening to people of color? How often are you reflecting on your actions, your implicit bias? And it's not something that is done, just like our yoga practice. It is lifelong work. And slowly make your way back. We'll set up for seated forward fold this time, Paschimottanasana. So again, rooting down in your sit bones. Kind of think of your inner thighs spiraling down, active in your legs. Maybe they touch, maybe you like a little bit of space. Inhale, reach up, sit tall. So use your core strength. Exhale, fold. And we'll be here for a little bit. So you could choose to keep this active, maybe connecting to feet, ankles, shins, a strap, or some kind of prop. If you're just kind of done physically, emotionally, mentally, that's fair enough. You can set a prop, a pillow, a block up between your knees, and just let this be more restorative. You can fold and rest your eyes on your palms of your hands or forehead to your palms. Maybe even round completely. And constantly coming back to who am I? You take the witness perspective, be an observer. Dig deep below thoughts and emotions. And then slowly release onto your back. And as you make way onto your back for a bridge pose, option to have a block to slide under your low back. And bend your knees, walk your heels in close, hands outside your hips. If you just want something more restorative, just slide your block under your low back right at your sacrum. Otherwise, press in with your heels and lift your hips up. Take a little time to maybe walk your shoulder blades closer together, and your feet have space between them, and your knees are stacked over your ankles-ish. And just be mindful if your knees start to splay wide, so really drawing or energetically squeezing your inner thighs, your adductor muscles. Maybe walk shoulder blades a little closer together again. You could find chest expansion like we did earlier, pressing your pinkies down into your mat. Maybe bend at your elbows, more like robot arms, pressing in with the backs of your arms as you drive your hips up. And feel the strength of your back body, really stretching your front line, the fronts of your thighs, your abdomen. A few breaths. Keep your gaze up. Maybe drive just a little higher as you inhale. Exhale, slowly lower down. Let your knees come together to touch, constructive rest. An option for Supta Baddha Konasana, bring your soles of your feet together, knees wide. Maybe connect to your body. Option to close your eyes. But take just a little time in gratitude. If you've made it this far in class, if you're committed to learning or discovering something about yourself, you're committed to working through discomfort, you're committed to feeling connected to those around you, those in your community that are suffering. And help your knees point up toward the ceiling. Draw your right knee into your armpit and really squeeze your right knee up and in. You can keep your left leg bent or extend it long. Take a little time here. Try to soften in your hip, your right hip. Active in your left leg, maybe using bicep strength to squeeze in just a little tighter. Spinal twist. Cross your right knee over to the left side of your mat. So you could kind of shimmy or adjust your hips so that they stack. Maybe extend your right arm long. And try to avoid, like, you're not trying to crank your right knee down to the ground. It doesn't really matter where that part is, but keep your shoulders grounded. You could always stack your knees. And then draw your right knee back up and in. Give it a little squeeze. Switch sides. Left knee comes into your left armpit. Maybe extend your right leg long. Eventually making your way into your spinal twist. Maybe turn your chin over your left shoulder. You could always use a block or support under your bottom leg. Inhale, draw your left knee back up and in. Give it a little squeeze. And then bring both legs in. Maybe even inhale, lift your forehead to your knees, get tight, tight like a ball. And then exhale, release. Shavasana. Your final resting pose, corpse pose. And for your final meditation, I will hold space for about 2 to 3 minutes. Maybe keep your legs bent, maybe extend them long and take up space on your mat. Take a little time here to come back to your breath. You could even think to yourself as you inhale, breathing in, I'm aware that I am breathing in. Breathing out, I'm aware that I am breathing out. Breathing in, I'm aware that I am breathing in. Breathing out, I'm aware that I'm breathing out. As we take space here, just recognize that there's privilege in that awareness, maybe gratitude of that awareness. Breathing in, I'm aware that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I'm aware that I'm breathing out. Breathing in, I'm aware that I am breathing in. Breathing out, I'm aware that I am breathing out. Start to bring awareness into your body. This gentle movement in fingers and toes. And slowly make your way to a comfortable seat. Maybe you take a full body stretch. Maybe pass through a fetal position. I invite you to keep your eyes closed or your gaze soft and down. Press your palms together at heart center. Remember, it's the choices you make that define who you are far more than your abilities. Thank you for choosing to practice your yoga. Lift your thumbs to your third eye, the center of your forehead. We will close with a collective breath. Inhale. Exhale. Thank you all so much. Again, my name is Casey, and I appreciate you being willing to dive deep in Svadhyaya or self-study. And I will put resources, so links to Michelle Cassandra Johnson, ways that you could donate or other resources if you want to take action in the description box below. If you're watching live, that won't happen till a little bit later because I go home and do bedtime for the kids, but it will be up there by later this evening. So thank you all so much for participating, and please continue to be willing to ask the hard questions, because especially if you grew up white in America, we grew up with a white patriarchal capitalist society with systemic racism, and it's impossible, no matter how good you think you are, it's impossible to be free of misconception or misperception. So please continue to do the work, and thank you. See you soon.